stick around for a couple minutes if you guys have questions. Not too long tonight. We have stuff to do, but we'll get this knocked out and we'll see what we can do for you. So let's go ahead here and we'll start it up.
This is Fern Halls, and you're listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Really?
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Aetheryte Radio. It's Gamer Escapes Final Fantasy XIV podcast and Fusion X. Joining me today, we have Bryn, because Doctor Mog took a nap, and I don't think he woke up from it. What's going on?
Hey, Fusion. Not much, man. Just got off work. Going to talk a little Final Fantasy 14. Been, as everybody knows, I think we've all been digging it extensively.
We've all been busy. We were actually, I think we ran 7 Praetoriums this afternoon, and then Mog's like, I need a nap. I'm done. So we got some relics, and he clocked out for the afternoon. So that's where he is, presumably. So, and we moved this up for him too because we didn't want to interfere with raid time. That's like the cardinal sin, you know. Can't schedule anything during raid time. That'd be bad.
Got to roll the coil.
Absolutely. So we do have. We'll start off with some host achievements. Bryn, what have you been up to since we talked last?
I have, it sounds like I'm kind of pulling up the the rear here, but I finished the main story last night. I was really determined, so I took Summoner Scholar to 50 and cleared the mainland story, all the bosses. I did watch the cutscenes, despite everybody telling me that I could watch it later in the end. And
way to be that guy.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm like, I'm gonna watch my cutscenes now. I've been talking about this game for 4 years. I'm going to enjoy it the way that it should be. You can do your speed runs without me, So, but it was fine.
That you were at the beginning the whole time, and they just kept going, and just cutscene. And...
Well, I mean, I stuck with them. Thankfully, I'm not a horribly slow reader, but for the most part, there was one fight where. Well, it's like I came in, I got a couple hits on him, and that was the fight. Nice. It's good that I showed up at the last minute to really finish this guy off, because otherwise, I don't think y'all could handle it. But so did that. Watched the credits, took some screen grabs of my name in there, which was thoroughly vindicating. If I can say that right, I just really felt. All of this. I felt it was an emotional, very exciting.
It gets you pumped up, yeah.
It does. I was like, we finished, and we're not going to be talking story, on the show probably for a while. Make sure that everybody has the opportunity.
We got to figure out what the
appropriate amount of time.
It's like for that, yeah.
Before we start, having to preface with spoiler alert and whatnot.
Right,
but
yeah.
I would encourage anybody out there who's a Final Fantasy fan. I'm assuming if you're watching this show, you're either an MMO fan or a Final Fantasy fan.
What are you doing here?
But I would encourage that any Final Fantasy fan definitely pick up this game for the story. I think you can probably beat it within the subscription, and it's really quite enjoyable. And then, of course, they do, the cliffhanger at the end of the credits, which really gets you jazzed up. And so did that.
Yeah. I'm so excited for that.
Oh, yeah. So all in all, it was, of course, people have been talking about, Fate parties and EXP. And I've been playing, with a couple of people in the free company that I founded. And we're rolling with a tight crew of 15 people, but nice. We're having fun. And so just kind of playing with them, chatting with them, and just enjoying it. So I would duo or, just kind of casually go out and do leaves, do quests, do fates. And I was like, yeah, this is great. And so, of course, I hit that 49. I unlocked it, and I was literally about 80K from 50. And then somebody was like, hey, we got a fate party going on in Northern Thanalan. And I was like, all right, I'll go ahead and join because I want to get it. And 2 fates, and I'm done. And I was like, holy crap. That was just unbelievable experience, wow. And so it was enjoyable. Just 2 fates, and I dinged 50. My experience, because I was helping some of my friends and free company members with other dungeons, so I was even doing lower level stuff, and just really kind of going at it at I think a nice not gonna die in my chair because I've been playing too much pace. But just enjoying the game and my experience overall, and ended up being a real smooth ride all the way up to 50. The only real gap I felt was from 47 to 48. That just kind of felt a little longer, and I filled it with leaves and got a lot of cash for it, and so.
There you go.
I mean, that's kind of the big achievement. The other achievement is I've been really frugal, and so I'm just kind of saving up for a house, and I think I have the funds to be able to purchase a house at 2.1 at this point.
In theory, we still don't know how much it's technically going to cost. It's just like,
he talked about like 2 or 3 three run-throughs of the game.
Yeah, if a couple people beat the story and saved their money, like they should be able to buy it. It's like, all right, well.
So I've been. That's just kind of like, it's not. I wouldn't call it an official achievement yet, but based off of what little hints we've gotten, I think come 2.1, I'm going to be able to plop down and own a piece of virtual world.
Nice.
How about you? What have you been up to?
Oh my God.
What have you knocked out? Like you and Mog have been playing.
What have I not done this week? Finished my Gable. That was cool. A couple hours ago, I finished my Artemis bow. So that's 2 relics.
Nice.
Super easy to get relics now. In 4 Ampor Keep runs, I'll have my Gable +1, so it'll be slightly better and it'll glow and be cool and add EP value to me. So always want the EP, right?
Yeah.
Been doing some leveling. I can't remember if I got this last show or not. Armor is 50. Goldsmith is like.
Yeah, you didn't talk about crafting last show.
Yeah, I got my armor to 50. Did the quest line for that. The end quest is the quest line is really funny. It's interesting because a lot of people, they're going through the main storyline or they're doing their side quests, and a lot of people skip through the tax and whatever. But
so
you take
sad.
the time
It's
to
such
read
good
it,
text.
and then you get like a cutscene in there. It's basically like, I don't know. It's a quest. It's like crafting quest. Is that spoiler material? I don't know. It's like,
let's hold off on story for
it's
just
fun. It's funny stuff. So go check it out. I'm assuming that the ones for the other ones are funny as well. I did this one.
They are. I've been doing the carpenter, and so they're very entertaining. Yeah,
I've been doing the goldsmiths. I won't spoil the armor finale, but this one for the goldsmith I have to talk about because it's so funny.
Okay.
The guildmaster Serendipity has like a mammoth, right? The little robot guys, and he's kind of like just like an ass to everybody. Like he's always criticizing people's work and stuff. And so you come to this quest, and it's, what is it, level 10, level 15, and the quest starts off by like, he touched my butt and then complained about like its shape and tone or something. I was like, what? Robot grabbing people's asses. I don't know, man. Welcome to Final Fantasy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's hysterical though. So level 10, level 15, it's worth leveling a little goldsmiths just to check that out. Leaves are really awesome for crafting. If you do any
same for gathering, if anybody is out there, and if you need some quick cash, don't burn leaves, just save them up and then go and do gathering.
Save a day and just knock them out.
Experience, money, and inventory product, so you're going to be gathering all kinds of things out there. So it's definitely worth it, especially if you find yourself, if you burn your way to 50 and you're finding yourself strapped to cash. Go pick up a mining pick and axe, or maybe even a fishing rod, and you'll enjoy it. It'll be enjoyable, but it will help.
It's nice to have just to do something while duty finding. I know this week has been really noticeable with delays in duty finder.
Is that still with Amador Keep, or is that just within anything?
Amador Keep is it's really bad. They adjusted it so you can't speed run it anymore. People are completing it in like 15-20 minutes. And so they basically, gave the mobs some more HP or something. They added, you have to kill all the mobs to get through doors, and it takes a while now, which sucks because I was actually enjoying the speed runs, and now it just feels more like a chore, which you don't really want. And it's like, I gotta do that. It's like, oh man, I gotta do that 4 more times for my Gable +1. Like, before I was like, hey, let's do it, knock it out, and boom.
I might have a different opinion as soon as I start.
Yeah, it's interesting because
But it said, I'm like, the idea is that if you're doing speed runs and you're like, all right, I've done everything, it's like, wait, why was everything given to me so quick? And so I have an adversity to speed runs. I didn't like them in 1.0. I haven't enjoyed anyone like, hey, it's like, no, I'm here. Let's enjoy the content as it's meant to be enjoyed. But I can understand that, and I think primarily because from the mentality of it was taking me 20 minutes to do this, it's now taking me 60 minutes to do this. But if that issue was never there, that I'll be curious to see if when it comes time for me to do it, if I'm like, son of a, or if it's just the fact that I never experienced a 20-minute run.
And what's worse about it now that you can't speedrun it is it's taking longer to get into in Duty Finder. I think last week is when it really started. I think a lot of people started hitting it and camping it. And I think, and I'm not, a technical genius or anything, but I think the way the Duty Finder works is, it pulls it, I think it's like 3 or 5 servers or whatever on the data center for the Duty Finder server.
Right.
And then I want to say that each duty has its own server because, we'll queue up, we'll form a full party and then queue up. We won't sit in there and wait for a tank or something. We'll have the party and it'll take us 30, 40 minutes to get into the instance.
Wow. Well, that would communicate to me that essentially that you're in line with people who've already reserved instance versions of
for
it
AM-to-port key.
for that one because
we'll queue something else up and get in instantly. So they really need to fix that, and that's it takes as long to get in as it does to complete it. Which after doing the in and out 20-minute speed runs, it's really annoying. Yeah, I know this is like the elitist in me talking. Other people are like, "Oh, shut up! Like you had your fun," and I'm like, "But it's, it's one of those things, right?"
Well, it's a convenience factor. It's that, and I can actually agree and understand where you're coming from a lot, more effectively. Even though I wouldn't describe myself as an elitist or anything like that, I'm more of a, let everybody have a good time.
Sure.
But the thing I think what ended up happening is that, and this is of course all theoretical, is that of course they were having the speed runs. And they were doing some work on the server, so they improved the servers, increasing probably more instances of Amador Keep. However, now that the speed runs are removed,
people are in line longer.
They're in line longer because people aren't completing them as fast as they were. So I think essentially if, the stuff that I'm making up in my head at the moment is true, that I think the solution, will be adding in more instances and probably, and just as a theory that I had of something that they could do to help address the overall issue with it is that by probably introducing incentives into lesser run dungeons. So, hey, okay, you've done this and, Amador Keep, 100 times. Well, maybe the rewards, drop a little bit, but they start going up, in other places. So that would encourage, like, well, we're not going to run this one. We're going to go do this one because we'll get the biggest bonus. I don't know. There's a lot of ways, technically, and even psychologically, that they've got. I mean, and we'll see. And I bet we'll start seeing more ways because I know that this is obviously real important for Yoshi P because he wants people to be able to get in and play the game and that average wait time definitely is
it's bad. There was one screenshot I saw and I don't know what the circumstances were around it. I don't know if it was a full party that had queued up, if it was somebody alone trying to get in. It was like a wait time of like 223 minutes. It was that shouldn't be happening. Like this is Duty Finder. The whole point of Duty Finder is you can jump in and get into content if you don't have a lot of time to play. Well, I don't want to have to get in and wait for content for 223 minutes. That's a bit of a wait.
Well, the plus side of that though is that you can be in queue, and with the exception of like a couple of things, you can actually go like craft and do things. Yeah, so it's like
if you're doing any kind of questing, a lot of that stuff will pop you in an instance, and then it takes you out of the queue.
Yeah,
so
you got to be careful
on
that. That's what I was gonna say because it's like. Because the one thing that annoys me is that even if we don't have a full party, I can't bring out my chocobo. I can't, it's like...
I did that. I was doing some fates, and I couldn't party up, and I made the mistake of calling out my chocobo, because I'm like, I might as well, and then it's like, removed from the thing, and I'm like, man.
Yeah. And the other one that's annoying is that, like, you're in a group and somebody doesn't hit the button, and then back in the line,
That is the worst. And we'll be in TeamSpeak talking, and we'll be sitting there, and the rule is you can, within 5 minutes of queuing, you're allowed to get up and use the restroom or get a drink or whatever, but you got to sit there for the rest of it because you never know when it's going to pop up. And sure enough, man, that 45 seconds when it pops up, there's always somebody that's, it's a pain.
If you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
I would prefer, I don't know, like I could see that if that was increased just slightly, it might be beneficial.
Well, there's two ways that they can, I think, alleviate this. The big problem is, and it's kind of the same solution. They just need to add more servers. Now, those servers could be for Amdapor Keep, or they could be for a new dungeon. We know we're getting new dungeons in 2.1. They've mentioned that. If they have one that's the exact same reward, because right now people aren't. I guess they're doing AK for the drops. It drops some good stuff, but mainly they're going at it for the mythology tomestones. Mm-hmm. If they introduce a dungeon that drops the 80 philosophy and the 40 myth, just like Amdapor Keep, I think that would help split up.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of getting at, is that kind of diversifying it. And even if even if one was overrun, they could enhance other ones. Like, oh, guys, they want more people over here, so they can say, well, you've run Ambador 100 times. Well, might start de-incentivizing Amador, and we might start incentivizing.
And that actually gets into some of the stuff that we have a little later on here.
Yeah, I love it. Segue.
We'll get it into that. Not just a little bit. We do have some news out of Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Game Show is coming up this weekend. So some good stuff for there. Square Enix has announced a new Theta Rhythm game for the 3DS. Super stoked for this. I love the original Theta Rhythm. Then they released it on iOS. It was basically like a buy the entire game. You had to buy all the DLCs, like all the tracks separately. It was all right. But yeah, loved it on 3DS. The new one is going to have tracks from, of course, A Realm Reborn. Finally. Also mentioned Type 0, Crisis Core, and Advent Children. The game is going to have all the music from the first game already, which almost makes me think of, it reminds me of Dissidia. I think Dissidia music is going to be in it as well. I think once you got Dissidia 2, once you beat it, because it was like a prequel, like it had all the content from like the first one in it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, you'll get all of it, which is awesome. More specific 14 news here. Digital sales have resumed for the game. So if you were one of those people that are afraid of physical discs and are afraid that like stick them in a microwave or something and die from the fumes, you can download it now. Amazon, the Square Enix store, any of those places.
I've even heard more about that it's also more physical discs have been shipping out. Like there was even kind of a supply chain. You could find the disc, but it was a lot harder. But that's what I've heard. And that's what I was actually reading about on different sources today. So I was like, you could still, people were still able to go find the disc, but there were in cases like like where GameStop might not actually have any more, and so they'd be waiting until a new shipment would come in. The game seems to be incredibly popular, which is exciting.
The server issues minus Duty Finder, like you can get in, you can log in.
That's all taken care of.
That's the important. Well, I don't want to say that's the important stuff because Duty Finder is equally important, I think. But
well, if you're new, you're not going to be worried about Amador Keep for a couple of weeks, and so by that time, ideally we'll see some more improvements. I mean, Square Enix has really been busting their humps to get this stuff working right, and it's exciting. I think I think people can see that, which is good. I think that level of communication has been communicated, and that's a horrible sentence. So that level of communication has been communicated.
Fragment. All right. Hammer Nazi over here. All right. Yoshida put up a post on the forums talking about some of the server stuff that they've been doing. Interesting. Japanese data center is going to get reoccurring maintenances Fridays and Sundays from 6 to 8 a.m. so they can restart the instance servers due to memory conditions. Because I guess from what Yoshida says, the Japanese servers are a lot more concentrated than the ones in the North American EU data center. So that's interesting.
It is. It's it also it begs the question of why, and he brings it up kind of like within social conditions or other things are going on, but it's like with them 9 to midnight is like jam packed full consistently, and so why not earlier, why not later? And he's like, so that those hours were actually said to be like the very lowest amount of people were
Yep.
in the game at the time. So I was like, I found that's fascinating. Not being from Japan or over
Especially
there.
that one Sunday from 6 to 8 a.m. That's kind of nice. It's like if you're still playing this, you really need to go to bed. Like you got to go to work in a couple hours, man.
Yeah.
So
Sleep, please.
Yeah, I'll be curious.
They don't. I haven't seen the message like, please don't forget, your family, your life, and that was consistent from 11 and even 1.0. My wife was asking me about that. Like, do they still have that reminder? Because I was playing it pretty heavily.
I actually have forgotten my life, my work, my whatever else was on there. Oops. All right. Yeah, I'll be curious to see if that ever happens to NA. I don't know.
No, I think with the NA data centers, it's like we have a pretty consistent we have Europe, we have a lot of that all throughout, and the United States is so huge, so we've got East Coast, Central, Mountain and West, and West Coast,
Yeah, so
it's like it's a rolling, time period.
Yeah. All right. One little last bit here. There's been a lot of discussion this past couple weeks here. RMT and today bots. There's some bot stuff going around that we saw today. Just want to mention we have a zero tolerance policy on RMT and bots. If anybody is caught posting anything about RMT or any third-party devices that are bots, like cheating, like auto phishing, auto anything, you will be banned. Post will be deleted and you will never return. So if you're one of those people, don't do it. Don't do it. Thank you. Also, don't be a dick on the wiki comments. There's people that have been doing that, and I had to
pointing to me.
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, you. Man, they found out my alter ego.
Yeah, right.
I already have a mustache.
Sweden's law. Don't be a dick. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff coming out of Japan here. There was a Game Watch interview that was being translated by Reinhardt. I don't have the whole thing. It was like translated in progress right now. So we do have some cool stuff here. This is all for 2.1. They say right now they're thinking about a thing. So when you go into Duty Finder, you'll see a mention of which classes and jobs there are a shortage of. A lot of people are like, you can never get a tank, you can never get a healer. If you queue as one of the jobs that there's a shortage of, you'll get some type of XP or guild bonus.
I like that. That's
nice.
Greatness.
It's awesome. Also, random matching. Yoshida says that once a day, and they don't know if you can only do it once a day or if the reward will only be once a day. They're still kind of working out the details on that. You'll be able to select random in the Duty Finder, and they're going to group stuff a little more. It sounds like right now we have it's dungeons, trials, and guild tests, but it sounds like they'll have leveling dungeons and like end game dungeons and that kind of thing. And so if you hit the random button to queue in and you do that, you'll be rewarded with tokens that you can exchange for gear.
Oh
so
man,
incentive
this is
to
getting better. More incentives
to kind of go back and help with any lower level stuff to help people progress, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So don't be that guy that queues into that and then yells at people for like not doing something right. Like
be the guy who teaches and mentors and helps establish a wonderful community of Final Fantasy fans.
Yeah, there's been countless, like all you hear about, it seems like this past week is like Duty Finder horror stories of the people that they queue up in Duty Finder. Okay, they go in with a random group of people and then complain when stuff goes south. It's like, well, did you expect it to be like perfect and flawless and have no problems whatsoever?
You're free to spend your time and form a static group and go in, and that's the beauty of the Duty Finder. If you want to queue up, be prepared that you might run into people who might not be as effective as you. But the thing is that we all need to help each other out, and that's that's the nice thing about it. Yeah. And if you are not that kind of person who does not like to help,
find a free company. That's the big thing from this. If you're one of these people that queue up for Titan hard mode and then get pissed off at people for not knowing how to do the fight, which it's a tough fight to get into, find a free company, queue up with them, and do it. Because if you're in Duty Finder, then you complain. I don't want to. It sounds weird saying it, but you don't have a right to complain. Like that's on you. If you're not geared up with a free company and doing that, then that's it's.
And if you don't have a free company and you're on my server, you're free to
there you go.
With
plug the free company. All right. Also, something they've been talking about, and I really have wanted to see something along these lines. It's a lot of people have been talking about, either kick buttons or something to kind of deter the assholes in Duty Finder that pop up. So what they're doing is they're going to add an MVP option, which is really cool. So when you queue up for random matching, and I don't know if it's just random matching or if it's just Duty Finder in general.
Right.
It says players will be able to submit a vote to select a player as an MVP, and then you'll get MVP points, which can be traded for items like mounts or Chocobo-specific gear.
Can you vote for yourself?
I probably not.
See, I would think you wouldn't, because otherwise everybody's like,
man, I'm awesome. Me. What's up, Chocobo Barding? So I would like to see that. I don't know if it was a translation thing or not, but I would love to see that on all Duty Finder content, not just random matching.
That'd be nice.
Because that'd be weird, because that would mean that you'd get 2 types of points from just random matching.
I don't know.
Which is, I don't know, weird. But it's a step in the right direction for sure. So bravo. Also info about Crystal Tower and Coil updates. We know that there were going to be some. They've always said that they were planning additions to them. So 2.1 will have Crystal Tower. 2.2 is going to be a Coil update. 2.3 will be a Crystal Tower update. 2.4 will be a Coil. You've seen the trend here; they alternate. Okay, so 3 updates for those areas. That'll be pretty cool.
That actually sounds awesome. I'm really excited about 2.1 for the Crystal Tower. So I'm interested, because not having done Coil yet, and seeing that, with the 5 turns and the different various bosses, that what else are they going to plan to do with it? And it sounds like they've got plans throughout. 2.5 will, I would assume, put us into this time next year.
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, there's going to be a lot of real good stuff, and that's on top of the new things that they're introducing. So. Right. That's got me excited.
Yeah, initially I was really worried when they talked about this, because I'm like, okay, so game's going to launch, and then all Endgame is going to be is just updates of Coil and Crystal Tower every few months. Okay.
If that's all it was, but we've already heard.
No, they're adding dungeons and they're adding primals.
Primals,
awesome.
More updates to this, and who knows what else. It's like they've already kind of talked about a lot of surprises, and heck, we don't even know about Free Company summoning. We don't know about the Frontlines PvP, and then PvP updates later on. And for anybody out there who's excited about PvP as I am. I think it's going to be a real fun experience. I'm definitely going to be checking that out.
Well, we'll have Free Company summoning by 2.2 or 2.3.
Yeah.
He said, and it sounds like we'll get more continuation of the storyline along with that too, with primals and stuff. So, very psyched for that. That'll take us into our bragging rights. Every so often, we throw a post up on the website asking for you to tell us what you've been doing in game. We'll pick a few of our favorites here, read them on the show. So here we go. First one here comes from Virgil Renata from Excalibur. Says, managed to get Scholar Relic 5th. It's their 5th one. Their 5th relic. Go to bed. Get some sleep. Completed some...
How many relics are there in total? Is that
one for each job. So it's what, 9?
Oh, okay. I misread it. I thought it was like he was talking about his 5th, upgrade to the weapon itself. I was like, I thought there was just +1 on the relic. Okay.
Yeah.
I totally misread that, and I was like, but congratulations.
I don't even want to think how many times I have to do Amtapor Keep to get.
Well,
+5.
That's 5 Hydras, 5. Unless he's done those back into 1.0, and that was even harder. So. Salute.
Completed some DOH and DOL quests and got AF tools. Close to getting Pan of the Luminary, and found out my collector's edition package was lost. And I turned to mayonnaise when I heard Titan's theme for the first time. That's a bummer on the collector's edition thing. I know I haven't seen that on Twitter. They've been having issues with that. It sucks. Next one comes from Yumi Hibiki from Masamune. Got Summoner to 50. This is their new main class now, or main job rather. Beat the main scenario and got up to Garuda for their Summoner Relic. Also collecting every minion I can get my paws on. Got the Wind Up Download and the Veteran Reward ones. Also, shout out to my friend from Gamescom, gave me a Titan shirt. Yay.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's your best friend now, right? And last year we have one from Sevo Kevo Royuki from Sargatanas.
Yeah, that's my place. I'm glad you pronounced it.
Sargatanus.
I'm always like Sagada, whatever.
Saginaw? You're from Saginaw? Okay.
Saginaw, Michigan.
Got Archer to 21. This one's cool. Tanked the last 25% of Ifrit on my Dragoon and finished him off with a level 2 limb break when I had 58 HP left. Currently just started the Gridania storyline of the main quest. Very cool.
Congratulations.
And some epic kills that happen out there. I remember back in 11 I killed... which one was it? It was the airship fight. I won us the airship fight with a counter attack. Like, I would have died, but I countered it instead. And I killed him with, it was like a 10 HP counter. It was horrible, but...
man.
It's the little things, right?
It is. Make memories.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is all we're going to do here for today. Keeping it short, but we are going to do our best here to get these out weekly now. So super excited to do that. Hopefully Mog will remember to wake up when we do this next time. And make sure to, we love answering questions, guys, getting comments and feedback and stuff. You can email us at Aetheryte Radio at gamerescape.com. We are also on Twitter at Aetheryte Radio. You can join our supporters, be a supporter for Gamer Escape. Either sub or give a one-time donation of $20 or more. You'll get a cool little supporter tag on the forums, and you'll help us out a little bit financially, which would be much appreciated. And every so often you get access to exclusive contests, so that's cool. Last person walked away with a autographed Meteor Survivor shirt from E3, so maybe we'll do something like that in the future.
I'm jealous.
I actually have, you can actually see behind me, I have a whole stack of bags from PAX.
Oh, yeah?
So we gotta do something with those. We'll see. Also, if you don't want to support us, I know times are tough for some people, whitelist us on your ad blocker. That'll also help a lot. So thank you very much in advance for that. And I'm Fusion X. Thanks to Bryn for joining me. Thanks for Mog for sleeping through it. And we'll see you guys here next week.
Y'all have a good week.